Hey everybody, I'm Eric Oberembt, and you're listening to Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. We talk about real shit, what's on our minds, and don't give a fuck if it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. So sit back, strap in, and get ready for some real shit. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. I'm your host, Eric Oberembt. We're checking in again today at RoofCon 2020, and I got fuck
or 2022, whichever it is.
Is it fuck? Did I say 2020?
Yeah, you said 2020.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
This has already started off right.
Yeah, it's because you're here.
I know.
I'm super excited that we got Reggie Brock back, everybody. Reggie, thanks for being here, brother.
It's good to be. I got a bone with you real quick to pick. May I do that as we kind of kick this thing
Let's start in.
So yesterday, first of all, you did a wonderful job on your keynote. It was just like really good. All joking aside, it was just really good.
Thank you.
And had a lot of meaning to it. But that brings me to my bone with you.
Bone. Pick away.
So this morning I wake up and I put a quote on Facebook.
Yes.
Usually we kind of like each other's stuff, but when you comment, I get awake. I'm like,
you're welcome.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. And it was a very direct comment about how you felt.
You knew I meant it.
Absolutely knew you meant it. So here's what I thought. On your presentation yesterday, you had quotes up from what I call your shaman.
Yeah.
Your life coach.
Yep.
And with that great of endorsement on my quote, here's my only ask. The next time you do a keynote, you're going to have to take the shaman yoga teacher down and put my quote up there.
Okay.
If we're good with that, we can move on.
Yeah. I can't promise things.
Yeah. I know. Lexi, remember this.
Yeah, but Lexi, write that down. Take a note. Yeah.
You know, when I get a comment from you on my Facebook, it's memorable.
Because I think it was fucking love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That was exactly.
And I think that's a pretty accurate quote.
That was a quote.
Yeah.
What I wanted to get into a little bit is what I think is funny is the conversation that we had down at the end of the hall when we were talking about both of our different shows and how they're so different but so the same.
Right.
Right? Tell me why you think that is.
Because I think both of us are after the same thing, and that's this whole idea of people being okay with just being themselves.
Yeah.
And this unique build that we have, we've spent, like what I alluded to this morning, we spend our lives trying to hide who we really are, when the reality of it is when we are who we are, just life tends to get better for us and the people around us. Yeah. And I think you do the same thing. That's calling out people to be authentic.
Right.
I mean, I just call people out to be uniquely themselves, and I think it's the same.
Yeah.
Different styles, different approaches, but I think the voice print, so to speak, is identical. It's just like, be courageous, be bold, be yourself. Things will be better.
What's your I'm having so much fun watching your journey, right? And seeing how you're trying to help, because for so long, I'm sure your identity was Beacon Reggie.
Shingle dude.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that, and hey, where's my fucking rebate?
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, that was your identity I'm sure for quite a while, right? And it's been roofing, and like we know your story, at this point as far as work stuff goes, but you made kind of a conscious decision that you wanted to get out there to be able to inspire and help others. Tell me about what that's been like and what you hope to continue to do.
So, I hear your story yesterday, and though they're different stories, they're the same path. Right. I was really, really destructive.
Right.
I did a lot of things that destroyed a lot of people, including myself. And I just got to a point, kind of like you said, when you in your house where you had that glass table. Yeah. That moment where you just
snakes.
Looked up
you
like...
You probably weren't running snakes. So.
I was not running snakes.
All right.
I was running, but it wasn't snakes.
Wasn't snakes, yeah.
And so I had that epiphany moment with myself where I go like, what am I doing? How much more of this can I tolerate?
Right.
So you see, though our paths look different, we were headed in the same direction.
Right.
And so I want to do the best that I can to help people stop the madness in their own life. And I think I can redeem people's life. And so when I was listening to you talking yesterday, I can redeem their time. If people just pay attention to what you're saying and they can push aside all of the differences of maybe communication styles and go like, what is this guy really saying? you can redeem their time. I mean, you can like, I went through this stuff and I can do the same thing. I went through this stuff. Listen, dummy, you don't have to do this,
Right.
but you've got to figure out a different way. And so to me, that's my ambition, is just helping people to see what they're living and how they're living is not what they have to be a conclusion, but just a next step for them.
Right. Redeem their time.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great statement. I honestly, while you were saying it, I'm like, what the fuck does he mean, redeem their time?
Yeah.
But now I understand. It
So
took
you
me a
got,
minute.
I mean, the knowledge
I
you bring to
understood it,
people,
yeah.
you bring the knowledge to people, you give them, an understanding.
Yeah.
And, and then hopefully there's some wisdom that pops out of what you say that people can go like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to gain the experience
shorten
to
that
get
learning
there.
curve.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what redeeming the time is.
I remember that put me literally, like, I went in a time machine when you said that, and I remember being in rehab.
Yeah.
At like, say, day 22 or whatever, right? Where I came out of a fog, right? Like, I don't even remember the first 2 weeks of rehab. Like,
Yeah.
It was just a blur. But after that first 2 weeks and I kind of came to, I remember how kind of angry and embarrassed I got.
Yeah.
That I hadn't found that solution earlier, because I started doing the math of what could have been had I found that prior. And I think that, to your point, that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to say, you don't have to wait 10 years. You don't have to wait 5 years, because could you imagine if you started now down the path that you need? You know what I mean?
So how old were you?
How old was I?
Yeah,
I was 30.
So
when I
how
went to
about
rehab.
being 50?
Right,
So that's what I was.
right.
When it just like, what? I woke up and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, what is happening here? So why would you wait to 30 if you're 20? Why would you wait to 50 if
Right.
you're 30? When you can hear, you get people with understanding that can help walk you through and cause you not to have to go
Yeah.
through that nonsense.
Yeah.
Simply because we've been there, we've done that,
Yeah.
and we're trying to tell you what exit to get off before it happens to you.
And the hard thing in alcoholism and drug addiction, and I know that wasn't, like,
Yeah.
it's different. We have different stories, but a lot of times the answer to that question of why not is because I wasn't done yet,
Yeah, that's right.
right? I wasn't done
You
yet.
hadn't come to the end.
Hadn't come to the end. I had
Right.
to come to my end, right?
Yep.
And we all have that different path, but there's a gray area and there's a fine line, right? Like, yeah, you got to end, but maybe at some point you can open up your mind to being open to maybe it doesn't have to be 50,
Right. Maybe it doesn't have to be 30.
30.
Maybe it's just that moment of realization. That's what you're after.
Yep.
That has nothing to do with chronology. It has everything to do
correct.
with just like this mental, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, awakening, where you go like, what in the heck? And you can't force that on people.
No.
You can't. I mean, like to your point, until people go like, I'm sick of myself enough to make a change, it doesn't matter. All the pressure, you can send them books, you can,
Yeah.
great quotes, and until they come to themselves. That's what I call it. You come to yourself and you go like, all right, I got to make a change. Most of our efforts don't really help.
Right.
All the hope I have is that somebody will hear me enough time, and the same thing I think with you, where people will hear you enough time when that opportunity does happen, my opportunity timing meet, and then they can make a change, and we're a part of that. That's
Right.
all I hope for.
And it was something we were actually talking about at our Roofers in Recovery meeting this morning, because we had a couple of visitors, call them visitors,
Yeah.
when we allow non-alcoholics to come to our meeting.
Oh, God.
But we were talking after the meeting, and they were trying to understand how to help some people in their life that are addicts, alcoholics, whatever it is. And I'm like, look, first off, if you're a non-alcoholic, non-addict, and you want to help yourself and go to Al-Anon. Right? And figure that out about you. But also understand that all that you can do is support that human and let them know that you do know where they can go and who they can talk to when they're ready. Right?
Right.
It's always saying, I can't help you, I can't fix you. I can help you, I can support
Yeah.
you. I can't fix you, I can't do it for you. But I do know who you can talk to when you're ready because they've been through what you've been through.
Exactly. I've long since discovered I can fix no one.
Right. But goddamn, you want to.
I really want to.
You want to shake it out of them and like fucking listen to me.
I know what you're, but until
Wouldn't you love to see Reggie just go, fucking listen to me? Just fucking shaking them, just that anger. Yeah.
But until people get to a point where they're shaking themselves, it's not going to, I mean, it's just, it's really vanity is what it is. Us thinking that we've got something big and strong enough to change people's life. Now, I do think that things that have happened to me, I can help people with. Changes happen to me, I think can work for other people. But until they're ready, you know, I'm not going to beat myself over the head another day thinking I tried and nothing happened. It just didn't happen today. I'm going to keep voicing what's inside of me, and they're going to be, I call it, this is my word, Metron. I mean, there are people out there who hear my unique voice and they respond to it. 99.9% of the people don't.
Right.
But that 1% looks and goes like, and hears Metron. And goes, yeah.
Did you make that up?
No, it's actually, the word Metron means your true sense of influence. What you can, the people that you, because of the way you're built, you're built in a certain way, especially your voice. And I use the word voice print because it's what comes out of you that's uniquely yours.
Okay.
And it's somebody walking by here hears something and goes like, that it resonates with them in a way that 10 other people could have said it and it just didn't stick. And so Eric has this thing inside of him that might not appeal to 30% of the population, but that's not who you're after. Here's the problem. We chase people that don't belong to us. We try to save the world.
Right.
You know, we want everybody to stop drinking. We want everybody to stop cheating on their wives. We want everybody to do all these things. And the fact of the matter is, my voice does not inspire most people to respond.
Right.
But boy, when they hear it and my voice resonates with them in a unique way, that's when a process of change can begin. So I'm not worried about how big the platform is. I'm worried about speaking clear and consistent so that people one day will go like, at the right time, go like, oh now that makes sense to me.
It was a Sam Kinison quote that I had yesterday.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah, it's not about the whole world liking you. It's about the small percentage of the world that fucking love you.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
hey, bud.
I love that.
Yeah. I think that's, and Leanne Lee told me that yesterday doing that, she said, that's what you're talking about, Metron.
Right.
Metron.
Yeah.
Metron.
Yeah. Would you like to use that quote in one of your speeches? Or
I could if my wife wasn't there.
All right. Tell me about what's your favorite part about where we're at and RoofCon and the message that's happening here?
So a new thing started with me a year ago at RoofCon. That's what you're talking about. I ceased becoming the guy that sells shingles.
Right.
And it was me, you, and Jonathan.
Oh, shit.
With
that
Nathan.
Was last year.
That was last year.
Yeah.
That sat on that stage together, and it was Nathan that interviewed us, I think.
Yes.
That started something personally new in me. And see, to me, that's which has kind of birthed all this messaging that I have.
Yeah.
And creating a little bit more comfort for me.
That was an amazing day.
It really was.
Yeah.
And I think what's significant to me about RoofCon is that that's the emphasis of this. They're not widgets, and I mean, we've all got booths up here and all that, and that's that's great, but it's not a pitch conference. This is more about think about the speakers that have been here.
Right.
Starting with you and other people have been like, this is not about professional gain, this is about personal growth.
Right.
Right, and that's what this conference to me is all about. Is, because if we become better personally, we're going to perform professionally the way we need to.
Correct.
We get the cart before the horse when it comes to this, and that's what's different to me about this conference. Is it truly is about personal development and growth and becoming better people.
I think the inverse is true as well. Is if you are only focusing on the financial business growth side of things, your personal growth generally starts trending in the other direction.
Yeah.
Right? Where the inverse is not, it's not opposite when you work on the personal growth, right?
Exactly.
When you work on the personal growth, the business fucking takes off.
Yeah.
But when you only work on this one over here on the right, I 100% believe that the other side goes down. And that is just a recipe for shit.
Yeah.
For disaster.
And we, to a large degree, as an industry, have focused on what we see, how people behave on the outside, and we like try to polish that up and make it better. Dude, when the toothpaste is out of the tube, it's too late. It can't be put back in. And so to me...
Or as TW says, you can't unfuck her.
Okay, that's another way of saying it. Yeah, that's another way.
It,
yeah, that's another way of putting it.
Reggie has his way, I have my way.
But we're getting to the same place.
Getting to the same point.
Yeah.
I've got toothpaste, I've got unfucking. I got it.
Oh, God. But the end result is, how about changing it before either happens?
Right.
Like, start looking at ways that are causing the behavior. I really feel like when I've had most successes in my life, it's because I have focused on causes of the problem, not the problem.
Right.
So what has caused me to do the things that I'm doing that's created the bad performance that I'm showing the world.
Right.
And I think that's what this is about. And it encourages that and it inspires people. Hunter's done a great job with that.
Yeah.
Bringing in speakers who just focus on getting better as individuals and prioritizing that. And then, I mean, you and I both know, organically everything else gets better.
Correct.
If you're on the inside polluted and just, you just stopped up, so to speak, until that stuff kind of starts getting out of your system, it leaves no room for growth.
Right. I don't think he had no idea what I was going to talk about yesterday. Like, he literally just gave me.
So why do you think that is? I mean, think
don't
about
know.
it. Yeah, you do. Think
Do
about
I?
it. Yeah. Because he knows you from before he invited you to speak.
Yeah.
And so with Hunter, to me, I don't think he's worried about, are you polished? Are you professional? Is there passion is what he's concerned about.
Sure.
And that's why he unleashed you to this group. And
Unleashed.
we were able to see that in full action, and the impact it had on us is not going to be forgotten soon.
What was the most fun about that is that whenever you get an opportunity to speak, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, whether you're speaking or you're doing the podcast or you're out there, whatever, you're in the public, whatever, and you have to check yourself. I have to check myself about every month to 2 months and like pull back and become self-aware and go, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Are you doing this because of you and ego? Or are you doing this because you genuinely want to help somebody, right? And I know that it's because I genuinely want to help somebody, but that ego shit can creep in really, really fucking easy.
Especially if you get, if people go like, that was awesome.
Right. But what was cool was, after yesterday, it was the people that came up to me and said, thank you, I took so many notes.
Yeah.
And I took something from it. And it's like, that was the point.
Right.
That was the point, was that my goal and what I prayed for was that people would walk away and they actually would write something down that they could take home and implement into their life or into their business, whatever it was, and they could change, right? It wasn't about, I walked off going, that absolutely was fucking not about me.
Right.
That was about everybody in that room. And when I got the feedback that that's how it landed, I don't usually get proud of myself. I was proud of that because that was what I wanted to deliver, and I think that happened, and that made me happy. Like, I don't beam very often.
Right.
I'm not a beamer. But that's what got me excited, and I think that that's what lights you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? That's what lights you up, is because that's that journey that started a year ago for you. You get to see that fucking light in other people, and their eyes open up and go, there's a different way.
Yeah. And so I think what you'll see next is this sense of pride that you had, that you were able to deliver what you wanted to, will turn you humble.
Yeah.
So when the next opportunity comes, you will realize the difference now. Before, until people reacted to you in a way, and I think your idea about me saying it's passion is one thing, but the important thing is that people took something that's going to be used.
100%.
And so to me,
that's all
the next time you get an opportunity to speak, that won't leave your head. You'll go like, okay, I need to make for sure that this is about them, not me, for it to ever go off in a way to where I can see that light come out of them.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Reggie, we're wrapping up.
All right.
What we always do. We didn't do this when you were on last time. We changed the format a little bit, but at the end, we give the guests the last few minutes for any thoughts that I forgot to bring up, something that was digging in your brain, like I hope fucking Eric talks about this, and he didn't, the asshole. This is the opportunity that I want you to be able to close out.
I think, like last night when I was thinking about this, I really thought that conversation would come up, like that we had over there with those that you brought, that kind of spurred this whole conversation.
Yeah.
But I really, all I can say is this: you should not be afraid to try yourself again. Just being you and allowing what you've been created to live, just to be seen, and you're going to be shocked at the people that respond. Now, I would also say this: you need to narrow your scope. This is hard for me to choke because I wanted to win the world.
Sure.
I just now want to win the world that I belong to and they belong to me.
Yeah.
And so if you can think about your life and your uniqueness and be comfortable on that and start living it, there's going to be people who are going to be drawn to you that you can help create change in for them, but it ain't going to be the world.
Right.
Very seldom. I talked to a guy the other day and he said, "Hey, Reggie, what's your goal?" And I said, "Really? I mean, I'm really trying to find ones and twos and threes and fives, not hundreds, thousands, and millions." He goes, "I want to reach billions." I'm like, "Great, but how are you going to do that?" "Well, you know, if I talk loud enough and long enough, people will pay attention to me." That's not my strategy, and I don't think it's yours.
No.
I think you now have a Metron. I have a Metron, and everybody seeing this podcast has a Metron, and just commit to it. Let your voice be you. Speak your voice, and it'll draw people that belong to you, and then when y'all connect, you're going to make magic.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen.
Thank you, Reggie. This
of course.
The other reason that I asked you to come back and do another episode is because we always get so busy when we're running around here that we don't get to sit down for 30 minutes and just fucking bullshit.
Right.
And I was like, if I put them on camera, I will. Right?
True.
Not because of the camera, just because we get to sit down for 30 minutes and do
no
it.
distractions.
Right. Yeah, we just get to talk. So, Reggie, thank you for being here.
I love you, boy. Thank you.
Love you. If you've gotten anything from this, if you think anybody could be helped from anything that you heard today, please share the shit out of this.
Yeah.
We don't do fucking sponsors. I don't get paid. My payment.
Are you paying
is
me,
sharing
Alexi?
this.
Am I getting some kind of something
Yeah,
today?
just send the bill. Send the bill. Send the bill. The check will be in the mail. And remember, everybody, be authentic or get the fuck out.
Be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Yeah. Swipes.